Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you today? Today I'm here to go over an account of someone that feels they may have encountered what they're calling the Rainey Street Ripper. He would be the only survivor that has come forward as a victim. And it's kind of interesting because he believes he was pushed off of a bridge. About 25 feet he fell. He has some serious injuries and he's believing that he was drugged. Now, I believe that this goes kind of hand in hand with the accounts of a lot of the, I don't want to call them victims, but people that have been found at Lady Bird Lake to be deceased. Um, I would like to know, do their autopsies demonstrate that they were drowned? Was there water in their lungs? Um, a lot of the families are concerned that the police are not taking the incident seriously, that they're not doing enough, that they haven't done enough with the investigation. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about a petition that's asking the police to open up these investigations and just ensure that they did everything they could, because they're pretty much saying all of these deaths are accidental. Some probably accidental drownings is what they're labeling them, but the families, they don't agree. Some of the deaths, the people had injuries that did not appear to be caused from drowning or being in the water, and they believe that they were attacked. I don't know if a toxicology screen was done on all the victims, but that would possibly demonstrate drugs in their system, because this particular person, Jeff Jones, he believes that he was drugged. He believes that he was pushed and he survived. All of the other bodies, they were all found deceased. And many people feel that there is a serial killer. The police, they don't agree. They've come out, they've made a statement, and they're saying that they do not believe that there's an active serial killer in this area. So let's talk about it. Okay. And there have been 12 bodies in Lady Bird Lake and the Colorado River since 2022. So it's been about 2 years, 12 bodies. Okay. My article is coming from dailymail.co.uk. It's titled, I Survived the Rainey Street Ripper. Drugged man who plummeted 25 feet off bridge believes serial killer stalking Austin tried to drown him. This article is dated May 11th, 2024. It's by Nick White for dailymail.com. A man who was drugged and plummeted 25 feet off a bridge, nearly missing certain drowning, believes he could have been targeted by the Rainey Street Ripper. So Jeff Jones, he's a 30-year-old man. He had been out like at a bachelor party. Again, what did I say in the past videos? This serial killer may be targeting people that are going out into the night life. As I have said, it really reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer and how he targeted men. in the nightlife, this serial killer, primarily when I show you the people, it appears that he's primarily targeting men, right? Jeffrey Dahmer also drugged his victims. Jeff Jones says he believed he was drugged, and there was a drug found in his system. So we're going to talk about that. But I'm just trying to get you to see that there is a pattern that we can identify many similarities to past known serial killers. For example, Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, Mr. Jones was enjoying a bachelor party. He was out. He does not have a lot of memories of everything that happened to him. So he's going to talk about that. But he believes that he was drugged at some point, taken to the bridge, and pushed over. And he believes that it was meant for him to drown, that it was meant for him to drown, that the medicine, um, it made him so sedated that he wasn't really supposed to survive the fall. He was supposed to die, but he didn't. He did not drown. Okay. After he plunged 25 feet off the bridge, he was able to pretty much have a full recovery after extensive medical care. But let's continue. So he was drugged. He plummeted 25 feet off the bridge. He did not drown, and he believes that the Rainey Street Ripper targeted him that night. Okay, so Jeff Jones, 38, was on a bachelor party trip to Austin with a dozen friends from his home in Boston on June 23rd last year. He woke up in the hospital more than 2 weeks later. So after he was pushed off the bridge. He plunged to 25 feet. He's out. They have to give him this medical care, but he's out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He wakes up. He has metal rods holding his back together. And doctors found the date rape drug Rofinol in his system. Let me show you some pictures. I'm going to share my screen now because I do have some pictures that I want to share. So I'm going to come back to this picture because this is showing all of the 12 victims where they were on the map where Lady Bird Lake is, okay? And the Colorado River also. And this is right in line with being from the downtown area, the area where the nightlife is. Okay, so let's continue. This is Mr. Jones. He was in the hospital. He was in the hospital for 17 days, and I want to show you right here. He tested positive for benzodiazepine, and I want to tell you about that particular drug. So let me get that information. I posted on the Hidden Horror Facebook page, and I'm going to read right from there. So the benzodiazepine is classified as a medication that causes your brain to have slow activity. It slows your brain activity down, and it also affects your nervous system. It's a depressant, and it produces sedation, hypnosis. So you would be a lot slower. Your brain is processing information slower. It's going to make you feel tired. It relieves anxiety and muscle spasms, and it reduces seizures. It's most often used to treat anxiety and mental health issues. Um, an example that they give is seizures. So the most common Diazepams are the prescription drugs Valium, Xanax, Halcion, Ativan, and Clonopin. Now, you must have a prescription to get this drug. It's regulated. If you were found to have it, it would be illegal if you didn't have a prescription. Okay, so he tested positive in his toxicology screen for benzodiazepine. So they believe that he was drugged. Okay, so he has some injuries. He had the metal rods. This is his back, and you can see the two metal rods that are holding his back in place there, where he has seven broken vertebrae. And then he also had two other breaks in his vertebrae. Okay. So he's making full recovery, which I think is just amazing. Now I wanted to give you this picture because you can kind of see how the Colorado River, it runs right into Lady Bird Lake. And if you look at this, you can see how downtown Austin is more at the top. And then you have Rainey Street. That's where, you have the clubs and the bars and just a place for people to go. They have a good time. They have drinks. They meet up with their friends. It's just a nightlife area, but it literally leads, if you look, it leads right into the Colorado River, and then the Colorado River, you go down, goes right into Lady Bird Lake. Okay, so this is not extremely close to downtown. It looks like you'd have to walk quite a bit to get there, right? So if a person is intoxicated, how likely is it that they're going to go from downtown Austin to where this nightlife is, all the way down to Lady Bird Lake? That would be a bit of a walk to get there, and if you're intoxicated, right? So that's why many people believe that the bodies are being placed there. Okay, so this is Shoal Creek. This is the bridge that Jeff Jones he was pushed off, and it was about a 25 feet plunge. But again, he did not drown. He didn't pass away. He survived, and he believes he was drugged by the Rainey Street Ripper. So I'm gonna leave this picture up. Okay, so let me continue. So he woke up in the hospital more than 2 weeks later with metal rods holding his back together, and doctors found the date rape drug rofinol in his system. Jones believes he was drugged before the would-be killer pushed him off the bridge over a stream where he was supposed to drown and float away. So let me continue. Whoever they may be just missed the target, and I hit the ground. And luckily, because of that, I didn't drown, he told dailymail.com. I just got lucky. Not many people can say they potentially survived a serial killer, so that's a story I can tell, I guess. Locals have for years feared a serial killer is on the loose, as a dozen bodies were pulled from the Colorado River and Lady Bird Lake near the popular district. So let me go back and show you that picture again. Okay. So we have, let me see, Ricky Parks. He's right here. That was July 14, 2022, and that's near 9 East Avenue. Then we go over here, we have Christopher Gutierrez. That was on December 10th of 2022. He's found right here. It says South Pleasant Valley Road and South Lakeshore Boulevard. And then if we go over here, we have Jose Moreno, right here near the 1100 block of West Riverside Drive. Then right here, December 22nd, 2022, we have Kyle Thornton. That's near Congress Avenue Bridge. Okay. Then we have here on February 5th, excuse me, I meant to go to 2023. My apologies. Then we have here on February 20th, 2023, right here, we have Jason John. He was near 30 East Avenue, so right here. Then we have on March 5th, 2023, we have Clifton Axtell. He was near 1100 West Riverside Drive. So we see that's very close to Mr. Moreno, right? Very close, very close. Then we have, let me go over here, Jonathan Honey. He was near 10 Rainey Street. That was on April 1st, 2023, right here. Then, if we go back down to Lady Bird Lake on April 15, 2023, Christopher Hayes Clark, he was near the 2700th block of Canterbury Street. So he's right here. And then we have over here on February the 5th, we have an unidentified female, and that was near 300 West Cesar Chavez Street, right here. Then if we go back down, right here, kind of close to Christopher Hayes Clark's body, it's near Longhorn Dam. That's April 13th, 2024. They have not identified the person yet. It's right here, very close to Chris's body. And then lastly, we have Jeff Jones being a survivor where he was pushed off the bridge, Shoal Creek. That was West 6th Street Bridge right here. So let me continue the article. So locals have for years feared a serial killer is on the loose as a dozen bodies were pulled from the Colorado River and Lady Bird Lake near the popular Bar District. Two more were found in the past month, both of which are not yet identified, but like all but one of the others were ruled not suspicious by police. Police insist there is no killer at large, but rumors of a Rainey Street ripper have continued to swirl as the bodies pile up. Jones and his friends began with dinner at the Iron Cactus and then went to the Rustic Tap and Play, both on West Street. About 1 a.m., let me go back to his picture. Do it. I was trying to go back to his picture. Let me see. Okay. About 1 a.m., he somehow became separated from his group, but he doesn't remember anything well from before that. Jones is 6 feet 3 inches and can handle alcohol, and said he wasn't drinking heavily that night as the trip was a weekend-long affair. His friends last heard from him about 1:30 a.m. after which he stopped replying to texts and his phone went dead. So let's just set the scene. He's in town, he's visiting, so he's not from this area, but this is a bachelorette party, right? He's going out to have fun, enjoy himself, celebrate the the coming up wedding. So he's in town for the weekend. And he's probably thinking, I have the whole weekend to enjoy myself, to have fun. So I'm not going to overdo it. I'll just have a few drinks. He's a tall man. He can handle his alcohol. And he's not trying to drink and obsess. Up until 1 a.m., he's having all his memories. He remembers everything. They're at a bar, they're enjoying themselves. He's with his friends, and it was about 12 of them. At some point, they get separated, and he's now not with the group. The last time his friends can recall that they heard from him was about 1:30 a.m. But after that, Mr. Jones, he didn't respond to any more texts, and his phone, it went dead. Okay, that's leading up to now. An anonymous 911 call was placed about 4 a.m. So we're looking at about 2.5 hours later. So you have 1:30 where they don't hear any more from Mr. Jones, and then someone anonymously calls 911 about 4 a.m. after he was spotted lying motionless at the bottom of the historic West 6th Street Bridge. So somebody sees him on the ground, motionless at the get him help. Okay, let's go back to the picture of the bridge. So we have that. The bridge runs over Shoal Creek. So you can see the creek here, see the water, and then you see the walking path, and then you see the bridge, okay, here. So the bridge runs over Shoal Creek, which flows into the Colorado River, where several bodies were pulled from the water over the past 2 years. So let's look at the other picture because I think it's a little better. Okay, so Jeff Jones, Mr. Jones was here. This is the Colorado River coming down, and then we have Lady Bird Lake ending here. We see all of the bodies along the lake. Excuse me, the Colorado River leading up into Lady Bird Lake. We have the three bodies here, and then we have the other bodies here. And then Mr. Jones, he believes that when he was pushed, although he didn't fall into the water, he fell onto the hard surface. He believed he was supposed to fall into the water because he's drugged, he can't get up, he can't get out. You know, he's kind of in a sedated state. And that his body was supposed to go down right here, go down and go into the Colorado River and potentially go into one of these spaces as he moved through the water. But that didn't happen. Well, let me continue. Jones arrived at Dale Seton Medical Center at the University of Texas about 4:45 a.m. and had emergency surgery on his damaged kidneys, liver, and lung, and his spleen was removed. He broke 7 thoracic vertebrae. So let me show you that. His 3rd to 7th and 11th to 13th, along with his shoulder, elbow, and 2 ribs. He remembered nothing from being out with his friends to waking up from the second of 2 induced comas 2 weeks later. So he's in a coma. He wakes up 2 weeks later. Wow. 1 minute I was at the bar and then everything changed, he said. I was in pretty rough shape. I had no idea what happened and what my body looked like, which was a mess. It was pretty shocking. Like many people in comas, I had very realistic dreams, and it took everyone a couple of days to convince me of what really happened. It was confusing. Urine tests conducted at 6:59 a.m., 3 hours after he was found, were positive for benzodiazepine, a, a sedative family that includes rofinol. So they call it getting roofied, but it means you're getting drugged. They believe he was roofied. Now, who would have access to roofie him? Would it be in his drink at the bar when it was served? Is it possible that a bartender could roofie him? We just have no idea, right? Um, it's pretty scary stuff. Jones was initially in a coma for a week during a series of surgeries, but then caught pneumonia and had to be induced a second time. He wasn't able to leave the hospital for 17 days while his older sister, Amy, dropped everything to fly in and stay by his bedside before taking him to her home in New Hampshire to recover. So that's his sister, Amy, in the green shirt and black cap. Jones still has no idea what happened to him in those 3 hours between disappearing and being spotted below the bridge. So, law enforcement, did you go? Did you canvass the area? Did you try to talk to anyone in this area on the path? Are there any cameras? Do any businesses have cameras that would have recorded what happened in this area? I would like to know that. What investigative techniques did you use? Did you canvas? Did you put up pictures? Did you have a press conference? Did you put up a hotline? Did you offer a reward? Did you see if the businesses had any video? Did you see if there were any people willing to talk to you? Did you go and interview the staff and the bartender at the bar where he was? Are there any cameras there? Are there any incidents where other people have been drugged at this location? You know, it's a lot of things that you can do to investigate a crime like this. And I don't know what they did. I just know there's believing that this was not, the Rainey Street Ripper. Okay, let's continue. So Jones still had no idea what happened to him in those 3 hours between disappearing and being spotted below the bridge. The bridge is an old stone structure. Let me go back and show you the picture of the bridge. The bridge is an old stone structure with a wide raised wall that makes it impossible to simply drunkenly wander off the edge. So even though the bridge is old, it's a stone bridge, you can't just fall off the edge. That's why I believe Mr. Jones believes that he was pushed. He had to be pushed. He couldn't just wander and just fall off the edge like accidentally. But if someone was standing next to me, they could definitely have shoved me and flipped me over it, Jones said. So he believes that he was pushed, shoved, and flipped over the edge of the bridge. Jones landed within 5 feet of the water, and as he was drugged with rofinol, he likely would have drowned if he was submerged in the stream. So, again, if he had fallen into the water, the stream would have taken him into the Colorado River headed towards Lady Lake. And that's where all of the other victims were, right? We saw the map. I'll put it up again to just demonstrate all of the victims. I don't want to call them victims, but all of the people that were found in the Colorado River and Lady Bird Lake, they're on the path, right? They're on the path. Okay, I'll leave that up. Excuse me. I've thought about it, how he's only alive because he just missed the water a lot, he said. I couldn't even talk about it for the first couple of months. It was just too terrifying how close I came to being gone. I would have been incapacitated enough to not get myself out of the water. If they wanted to get away with something without being seen, this would be a way to do it. It's a good way to have no trace of what happened. That's scary business. It's really, really scary business. I'm just looking at something. Jones didn't rule out other scenarios, but given the number of other men who turned up dead along the waterway after disappearing from nights out and the drugs in his system, he believed he was attacked. The things that lead it to being a serial killer is that it's a very specific type of victim, which I fit. They don't have anything stolen from them. They drown in the water and they disappear in the middle of the night, he said. I match all of this. I just luckily didn't end up dead. Jones still takes some painkillers, but is back to running and other physical activity he enjoyed before plummeting from the bridge. The rise in his back will be removed over the summer, and he has extensive scarring across his upper body. The only lasting effect is from a branch puncturing his left elbow in the fall. He has surgeries on it to improve his range of motion, but can still only straighten it to 75% of normal and may never get back to where it was. Jones said the serial killer rumor and numerous bodies appearing in the waterway was a problem for Austin that police needed to take more seriously or it would scare away tourists like those on the bachelor party. If people keep disappearing, I feel like it's not going to be a destination for much longer, he said. The first of the most recent bodies was found under South First Street Bridge on April 9th and was described as a cardiac arrest style event. However, police continue to probe the death. Just 5 days later, a fisherman called in a report on another corpse near 515 South Pleasant Valley Road. The death was not being investigated as a homicide. Cops ruled out foul play in some of the deaths connected to the reservoir, stating they are most likely accidental drownings due to the lake's proximity to popular nightlife spots. These include that of Ricky Parks, 59, whose body was found first in July of 2022 and who is thought to have drowned. So Ricky, he was found here, right here. The deaths of Christopher Gutierrez. So Chris was found right here in Lady Lake, right there. Kyle Thornton, Kyle was found further up, right here. And Christopher Hayes Clark. So Christopher Gutierrez was found here, and then Christopher Hayes Clark was found here. Were also not deemed suspicious. Two of the deceased, Jason John. So Jason was found here. And Jonathan Honey. Jonathan is, they're not too far apart from each other, right there. Were deemed to have drowned accidentally. Both men were last seen on Rainey Street. And we know Rainey Street, if we get the other map out, Rainey Street is right here. So we have the deaths going throughout here, here, and here, and then Rainey Street right here. One man, Jose Moreno, was shot while driving and his vehicle plunged into the reservoir, cops said. So let me go back to the other map so I can show you where that was on the map. Okay. So that's right here. Very close to Clifton, right? Very, very close to Clifton, the same area. The death of Clifton Axtell, 46, who was found in March of 2023, was ruled as undetermined. The remaining bodies were not being investigated as homicides. Last year, the city of Austin increased safety measures, including lighting and fencing around the lake. I think they need cameras. I think with this many deaths in a 2-year period, I think it's time to invest in a camera system. Okay. The city was also considering stationing park rangers around the water as well as more surveillance cameras. Well, if they say more, well, what do the current surveillance cameras, where are they located and what's on them? I would like to know, did they obtain the footage from those surveillance cameras? Former Austin Police Department Forensic Director Mark Gillespie previously stressed in an interview with KVUE that the public should believe the police when they say there is no foul play. They're looking for foul play, and so when APD, that's the Austin Police Department, comes out with a statement that at the current time they don't suspect foul play, I promise you they were looking for it and they were looking very hard for it. So I respect that, he said. I don't think that you have to necessarily be looking for foul play, but I think you have to adequately answer concerns. And this is basic investigative tools: canvassing the area, posting signs, seeing if anybody saw anything, trying to obtain surveillance video, going to the places where the people were last. What were they doing? Who were they with? How did they leave? Does it show them intoxicated? Does it show them drugged? Did they walk away? Did they get to a car? Were they in a group with friends? How did this happen to all of these people? People have questions. I think it's fair. Okay, let's go on. Human nature has always looked at things and sort of looked for patterns that may or may not exist, but also social media and the ability to just sort of put these rumors online and sort of have them go out like wildfire, he said. Anderson pointed out that Austin has a reputation as a city where people go to drink and cut loose. Let me show you the other picture. Go back to that picture. I think it's proximity because the downtown area, just like major cities like Austin, Chicago, all of these major cities are going to have downtown areas where the nightlife is, where the fun is, the partying, the bars, the entertainment. It's going to be in the downtown area, and they may have a river along that downtown area. Um, and a lot of major cities have a river in their downtown area, just as well as Austin. The problem with this is, with this number of deaths being alongside, very close in proximity to the downtown, and maybe the people and the public just don't feel the investigations have been thorough enough. Maybe if details were made stating the work that was done, how it was done, when it was done, what was found, maybe people would feel a little bit better and maybe not think in fear or think that there's a serial killer. But that, to me, that hasn't happened. We know very little about the investigations, and in the next video that I'm going to do, some of the families bring up specific issues that they have with law enforcement and the work that was done, the investigative work that was done. So we'll wrap it up. It says, I don't think that we've seen anything that would lead one to conclude that there's a serial killer out there, but we do know that people drink to excess in Austin and that men often engage in at risk behavior, he added. Well, I think you can look at a set of facts, and we have to look at proximity. We have to look at that there's a nightlife area. And we also have to look at the one person that did survive, Mr. Jeff Jones. I think he made some compelling points. One is there are drugs in his system. There are drugs that he didn't take, that he wasn't prescribed, and that these drugs are meant to sedate you. You won't have memory of what happened to you. And by him being pushed off the bridge, like many of the other victims, his body more than likely would have went downstream and gone into the Colorado River like the other bodies. Now, we have a set of facts. We have mostly white males. Most of the people were in the nightlife area on Rainey Street near the downtown Austin area. And we have, I won't say young people, but some of them are younger, but healthy people. Um, Bodies being found in this area. How do you walk this far? How do you get this far on your own will if you want to say a person walked this far but they were intoxicated? How did they get separated from the group or from being in the nightlife area to this area? Are they brought to this area? Are they dumped in this area? Um, we have to consider all of that. And what were the toxicology screens for these victims? Did they also have drugs in their system and something similar to this? We don't know because the police haven't provided those details, but it would be very interesting to know more, right? So my next video is going to be about a petition that people want the police, the Austin Police Department, to take this more seriously and investigate these cases more. Get out there, ask the questions, try to obtain the video surveillance, go to the locations where these people last were. What did they do? How did they leave? How did they separate from the group? You know, these questions are pretty common and basic in an investigation. We don't know how much work has been done, but there's a petition out there to get the police to open up these cases and look at them. And they're not talking about 12 people. They're talking about, I believe the number is 20. So the number is actually higher. I think the cases can go back to, I believe, like 2007, 2008, but we can just look at the last 2 year period. That is 12 bodies, 12 people. Why not put the resources in this area? If you have to have videos, if you have to have manpower, people there in this area to try to figure out what's going on. Do you have the ability to put some other undercovers in this area, in this downtown area, to ensure that there is no safety issues where people are being drugged and killed? Just my opinion. Okay, so I will be back to give you the next video in a few days. Thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. I want you to stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy, be well, all my friends. Have a beautiful afternoon. Bye, everybody. Bye.